Welcome to Community Connections with Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County. I'm just one of your hosts, Sean Boyle, and with me is
Ashley Mock.
And welcome to the half-hour radio and TV show once a month when we come into the St. Lucie Public Schools WLX studio where we do our show that can be seen on all major cable providers and also YouTube. So if you're listening to our show on 104.5 The Flame every Sunday at 10 a.m. and you want to see what the WLX studio looks like, what we look like, what our guests looks like, and more importantly, all the programming that WLX television does, just go onto YouTube, look up WLX TV St. Lucie, and you'll see all their programming, including this wonderful program.
So there are a lot of other programs. I'm glad you brought that up because I was looking for an old video that we had done recently because all of our past shows are up there on YouTube. But we have some other partners that have shows as well. So there's a Boys and Girls Club show that you can watch there. There's a really great show by the Public Defender's Office that interviews a lot of people that have to do with the court system. There are a lot of good shows that WLX puts out for us.
And we're excited about all those, but we're not going to promote them here until they start promoting us too. So I'm just saying.
That's fair.
So gauntlet has been laid, but welcome to the show that's all about connecting you, the listener, and the viewer to resources and things that are available for children and families in St. Lucie County. Now, Ashley and I, you mentioned that if they go to WLX TV, put in the St. Lucie part, because it just helps narrow it down.
Right.
They do have all of our past shows.
They do.
And I mean, all of our past shows. When they were an hour long on the AM, when we clearly didn't know what we were doing.
Well, and you can go back and see that we haven't gotten much better since then.
No, the one thing that we have done, and me particularly, has aged.
Yes,
So
agreed.
if you're really bored, go check that out. But what we do with our time together, because clearly we haven't gotten much better at this in the 9 years, but what we do is we concentrate on helping you, the viewer and listener, identify things that are available for children and families in St. Lucie County, as I mentioned already. And we do that because at the Children's Services Council, we have 5 priorities that we work on every single day. And those priorities are: 1, making sure every baby's a healthy baby; 2, stopping child abuse before it happens by building strong families; 3, keeping kids off the streets; 4, keeping them in school; and 5, keeping them off drugs, alcohol, and other risky behaviors.
You got them all. I always like it when you count with your fingers, though. It keeps me on.
I know, and I can, getting a little bit in the weeds here, breaking that 4th dimension. I can see myself and you there, and I was just like, I'm getting really close to touching her, so I overemphasize that.
So, it's a weird place. Anyway, Sean talked about our priority areas. In addition to this show, there's a couple different ways that you can learn more about the programs that we work with in those areas. Obviously, our website, which is cscslc.org, we have a list of all of our funded program partners there, along with their contact information. So if there is a program that you're looking for you or your family or a friend, you can find that information there. We also print that information in these very handy family guides. It essentially is the same information. This information also has phone numbers and addresses if we're talking about some of our location-based programs like our after-school programs. But we also have information in the family guide about 211, which we refer to quite a bit if there's something that you are looking for your family. And there's an advertisement in there for this show. Imagine that. So
that's the 5th dimension we're breaking right now.
It is. So we have these family guides available. If you have a location, a business, a school, a church where we could drop these off to you, there is actually a very simple form that you can fill out on our website, and one of our team members will get these to you. We have printed close to 10,000 every year for probably the last 5 or 6 years. So we have gotten smart and have now put the date on the bottom so you know which one is the latest version.
You learn something new every day. I had no idea that date was there.
It's there now. So this is the latest version of them, but again, if you have a need, if we can bring these to you, to your place of business or to your office, we're happy to drop some off to you so that you have them to share with families in our community.
Look, we recognize the reason why you're probably watching this show is either you know Ashley, you know me, or you know our guest, Caroline, and you've been told to check it out, or you can't sleep. However, if you happen to be watching the show and you're like, you watch the show or listen to the radio program because you're like, I want to be that hero in my community, whether it be my neighborhood, my place of work, or congregation. If you're watching for that reason or listening, I would encourage you to grab a copy of this or download it and keep it in your car, because that's what I do until I give it out to somebody, and then I'm like, oh, I gotta go grab another one. Because you never know when you're going to run across somebody that's like, I need health insurance for my child, or I'm really struggling with this, and you could be like, wait a minute, I watched this crazy show or listened to this crazy radio program.
Learned about this
and
crazy
what I really learned was to always have this with me and connect my friends and neighbors to resources that are available.
Yeah, no, it is really good. And then the next thing that I would mention too, we always talk about the information that we share on Facebook. We share a lot about our organization and our funded program partners on Facebook as well. But from time to time, I will catch messages either that friends have shared or someone has asked for a referral for something on Facebook. You know, that's where we get all of our referral information now. But just yesterday, I caught a glimpse of a mom who was asking for help registering her kids for Medicaid. And I was able to refer to a program, you just mentioned it, kids who don't have insurance. We have a great partnership with the Treasure Coast Food Bank. And not only can they help sign you and your family up for health insurance, but they can help you access SNAP benefits, other food services. There is just a wealth of information that they are able to provide at their Your Plate facility. I was able to share that with this mom quickly on Facebook, provide a link, and she called them yesterday. So it's so simple. You really can, like Sean said, be the hero in sharing that information with friends, family, coworkers. And if you have any questions, or if you don't know, you can also call us, because we'll still tell you.
Yeah. In this day and age, people still occasionally call, so we've heard. Real quick, you mentioned that we're on social media.
Yes.
So encourage everybody, if you aren't already, go to Facebook. I know you're on Facebook, because how else can you track all your people you went to high school with? And look up Children's Services Council. Make sure you put in the St. Lucie County and like our page, follow it. You can actually choose to what degree you're going to follow it. I recommend that you follow us to the whatever that.
To get updates.
Follow us the most you can to get updates, because we post on there nearly every day. Did I ever tell you my philosophy on Facebook?
No.
This proposed idea that I have?
No. You only want to see good stuff?
I only want to see good stuff on Facebook. I know that will cut out probably 90% of the content that we're used to seeing, but here's my strategy. I've sent this proposal to Facebook. I think that for one weekend, just to reset everybody's minds, if you will, just a social media reset, Facebook should only show, I'm going to say the Children's Services Council, because we post nothing but positive, the Dodo, which is all about rescuing animals, and the St. Lucie County Humane Society.
I am in.
And then just for one weekend, just to reset everybody.
I like it.
This is a movement that I'm asking everybody to email Jeff. Who owns Facebook?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg. He and I don't know each other that well. But I digress.
I like it.
I'm the entertainment for the show.
I could get behind that thing.
So real quick, before we get to our guests, you already mentioned it, the important resource that we have for 211. We would be remiss if we didn't recognize that September is Suicide Prevention Month, or is it Prevention? Suicide Prevention Month. So if at any point you need somebody to talk to, and there's a lot of research out there that shows that people need to be connected to other people. I think we've talked about this on a past show. You need to have those relationships to talk about what you're going through, and just to have that support. But if by chance, if it hits you at a moment when you're feeling really down and you can't get a hold of somebody, or maybe you don't have somebody, you can call 211. There are live operators there that are willing and able and trained to talk to you and help you work through your issue and help you get connected to resources. But more importantly, if you're feeling, really down and I hate to say it, but even feeling suicidal, before you do, if you can, please call 211 and talk to somebody.
Yeah. And actually, in the ad that we have in our family guide, you can not only make a phone call to them, but you can also send a text to get information, which we share a lot with our teen population. Because they're much more comfortable texting than talking on the phone. But you can also chat directly on their website. So if that is a place where you feel more comfortable, then absolutely use that method. You can use that method to not only contact their crisis services like Sean was mentioning, but also to get referrals for programs. So lots of options. We share a lot on our Facebook page about 211 also, but definitely probably our most referred resource.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have a wonderful guest.
We do.
That has been laughing with all of our jokes.
She knows the rules.
She
knows.
Although I think this is her first time with us in the studio.
It definitely is. It is. And I roped her into coming, although she didn't have to drive very far to get here. So
She was here before us.
she was here.
I was visiting a family member.
She was. So we do have a great guest today, and she's got some wonderful things to talk about, some really exciting things that are happening in our community. I feel like we probably have talked about this on the show in the past, but it might have been a while. But we have a great organization in our community, Guardians for New Futures. We have worked with them in the past. We've done some events with them. We've done some partnerships with them. But we have their brand new CEO, right? Is that right? Caroline Vineyard is with us today. And we've got some exciting things to talk about. But maybe for somebody that's not familiar with kind of the foundation that's been laid for you guys in our community, talk a little bit about that, and then we'll shift to kind of what's coming and what we need from everybody.
Sure. So Debbie Butler, who is the president of Guardians for New Futures, they're a nonprofit based out of St. Lucie County. They were originated in 1991. It was really a group of guardian ad litems who wanted to help abused children. So over the years, they've expanded their mission to help all children in our community. In 2008, Debbie Butler came along and has really just done so many great things. To this date, you know, we've helped over 9,000 children, raised $6 million in the community, in-kind gifts, the toy drive.
I was going to say, I think if anybody from the business community is listening or watching, that might be the place that they recognize Debbie from, is the toy drive, because she turns into an elf right after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And she works her little elf self.
Is that a height joke you're making on Debbie?
No!
Okay.
It's a huge production. I mean,
is.
last year they had all the gifts at the Barron Real Estate facility, and it was just a major production. I was like amazed, like how she does it every year.
And then if somebody's watching and they're not from the business community, but they're from the nonprofit or social service community, they probably know Guardians for New Future because of the Children's Summit that they do each year.
Yes, which we're going to talk about.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Come on, Sean, follow.
So I've known Debbie for a few years. You know, we've worked on other projects together, but in January of 2020, she launched the campaign to develop a Children's Advocacy Center in our community. I've talked to a lot of people around the state, and they're just so surprised that our circuit doesn't have one. There's such a benefit to it. So she's been working on this since 2020. She's raised over $500,000. We received a $1.3 million state appropriation to build out the facility, which is located right here in St. Lucie West.
So talk a little bit about what a Children's Advocacy Center is, because you said that other districts have them.
Right.
We don't.
Right.
We serve a lot of kids in our community.
We're competitive and jealous.
So what does that mean? What does a Children's Advocacy Center entail?
So what it is a centralized location for community members to collaborate on cases of child abuse, whether that's severe physical child abuse or sexual abuse. So these community members are made up of law enforcement from each county. We have Martin, St. Lucie, Okeechobee, and Indian River. We have the child protection team, which they have case coordinators who do forensic interviews for with the children. We have child protective investigators with the Department of Children and Families, and we have the Hibiscus Children's Center is going to be providing the sexual abuse treatment program, and then the CAC staff. So we're all housed here. So it's like a one-stop shop. So when there is an allegation of child abuse, the child is brought to the center to receive the services. So they go in and they sit with a forensic interviewer, and we have a victim's advocate talking to the family. And then in another room, you have law enforcement and DCF, state attorney's office, observing the interview. Because what happens right now is when there's an allegation of child abuse, you know, the child could disclose at school, and then they might have to talk to someone at school. The police come, they have to talk to the police, and they have to talk to all these people. You know,
over and over.
Over and over. I mean, at least 15 times they could be, you know, telling their story, and things can happen, you know, in that time. You know, there's a lot of things that, you know, they can sometimes recant. They can be really scared, you know, of what's happening. The perpetrator could be in the home. So if the law enforcement has come to the home, so it's a safe place. They'll be going and just tell their story one time, and then they're going to get the services right there. Because what happens right now too is that they'll go to the forensic interview, which is in Palm City. And these are, the whole circuit goes there,
Right.
right?
Right.
Each county. So, you know, and then they just get referred to services. So there's nothing there. So there could be a crisis. So everything's going to be happening right there. And it's really going to be an experience for the child that they feel valued. You know, they had the courage to tell their story, and then they got all this help. Whereas now, it might be happening. Everybody's doing their job, you know, very well. But it's just that we're working in silos, and we're going to bring everybody together and work together as a team.
I like the idea that, because, you know, if you think about, you know, and I'm sure most people, when they think about child abuse or neglect, they think, oh, what a horrible situation. But they don't realize all the players and all the things that go behind the scenes. Like you already mentioned, Department of Children and Families, law enforcement, state attorney, you know, medical, and all that stuff. And having done child abuse investigations in another lifetime,
Right.
you're absolutely right. If a 6-year-old has the courage, or a teacher identifies some marks on a child, and then that child tells that story once, every time they tell that story, it's going to differentiate. And it's not because they're lying, it's because they're 5 or 6 years old, and that's what 5 and 6-year-olds do. So by you having this location where they get interviewed once, because also the other thing that happens is every time you interview that child, you're almost re-traumatizing that child, because you're asking them to recount memories
Right.
that are very traumatic for them.
Right.
So that is great. I know this is to show you how excited that I am about this, and how it's like it was one of those things about time. I did a child abuse investigations in 1991
Wow.
in Indiana, and we had one of these in Indiana in 1991.
Wow.
Gotcha.
So about time, St. Lucie County in this circuit. So we're very excited about it, but I think it's gonna change, because what it's gonna mean is more kids are gonna be able to get services.
Right.
You're gonna be able to respond right away, and also the prosecution rate for the people that abuse children is going to go up, because now you have this taped interview that's been observed by law enforcement and the state
That
attorney.
could be shared with state
Yeah.
attorney right from the
Absolutely.
start, which right now that's not happening. You know, they're not really always involved from the beginning,
Right.
and then things happen down the way. So,
Right.
So I have a logistics question.
Sure.
So every abuse or neglect case is going to come there, or just the ones that are, because, you know, having done child abuse and neglect investigations, some of them are like, oh yeah, you got to clean this house up, this is really bad, versus, oh my gosh, we got to get law enforcement involved, you know, the state attorney.
right. So we have been working with the multidisciplinary team to establish, you know, what is the criteria for referral to the CAC. You know, a lot of cases are going to flow through the CAC, but the MDT response, where all those people involved, is going to be a bit narrowed. So it's going to be all your cases of sexual abuse when there is a disclosure, and all severe physical abuse cases, allegations that, you know, burns, fractures, asphyxiation, and even in child death. So a lot of the cases will be seen there, but, you know, this whole MDT response will be specifically for those cases.
And I would think that those that are involved in the field, sorry, I know I'm getting, all those that are involved in the field are probably great that, to your point, I could go down to Palm City now, and that's not a ding on any of these providers. It
Right.
just happens to be where they're located.
Yeah.
The travel time's got to be minimized for a lot of your partners now, having
Right.
everybody at one spot.
Right. I think the long-term goal would to have a CAC in every county. You know, if we initiate this CAC, the model here in St. Lucie, and then we roll it out to each county, little
Yeah.
mini
mini one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love it. And so I do want to make sure that we give an opportunity to talk about, you guys still have some need, like there's still
Oh, sure.
there's still some work to be done.
We appreciate your support always.
So is there anything that, you know, we can share with the viewers and listeners, needs that you still need, needs that you still have, or ways that they can support, or just talking about it out in the community, sharing information?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is being out in the community and being ambassadors for us, you know, sharing about, you know, what we're doing, and even knowing that the Advocacy Center will be a resource to everybody in the community. You know, I want it to be an approachable place. But if you go on our website, you'll see that, you know, we have sponsorship opportunities available for the Child Summit that we're putting on this month, September 29th and 30th. And we also are doing a clay shoot in October 17th. So there's, you know, you can attend, you can sponsor, and then ultimately we would like to have volunteers at the center. We're always looking for interns and volunteers.
So Caroline, I know our TV viewers saw your website and phone number on the screen, but
You
we're
saw
also a
it?
radio. I saw that. But we're also a radio program. So can you give out your contact information?
Sure. Sure. So the website is www.gfnf4kids.org. And my contact information is 772-713-0658.
Perfect. So you did mention the Child Summit.
Yes.
And that's an event that Guardians for New Futures has done for several years. And it's really kind of a great opportunity for anybody working in the children's social services to kind of come together and have some conversations about what's happening, what everyone's seeing, get some skills under their belt.
CEUs.
And then go back out to work.
Yeah, what's funny because I met Debbie years ago, maybe like 2014, and I was a therapist, then, and she was offering CEUs, free CEUs, like who does that, So I thought that was, very ideal. So that's why I started attending. And so, but this year is special. It's our 9th annual Child Summit. And it's all about the CAC. And we're going to have speakers from all disciplines talking about child abuse and even resources in our community. So it's going to be great.
And I know because I went and looked at that, but on the website there is more information, details about exactly who is speaking, the times, and registration information is all available on your website.
Yes, so we're going to start this year. We're going to start a little later. Usually we start pretty early. So registration is at 8:30 on the 29th and the 30th, and then we'll start at 9. The first day, our keynote speakers are true champions for children. We have Senator Gail Harrell and Representative Dana Travolsi. And then I'll be speaking, so that's exciting.
Another champion for children.
But and so we have Terry Thomas, and he's a former FBI investigator, detective for child abuse cases.
Oh, wow.
We have Lacey Buxton from Hibiscus and Andrea Reich, who is the state clinical coordinator for the sexual abuse treatment program. We have the sheriff's panel, which is a pretty big hit every year. We have Teresa Albizu, who's the CEO of Safe Space, and her husband also speaking on pediatric psychoneurology.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so a lot of great topics and issues related to children.
And so really the Child Summit is geared towards individuals, professionals working in those fields.
Correct, right. All those disciplines.
And how much does it cost to attend?
You know what? It's free. It's just free. And you get CEUs. You probably get at least 20 CEUs. I'm not sure.
We like free. Free's our favorite word.
Free's good. And actually, lunch this year, we're going to have some food trucks to be provided. So you can sit and, eat your lunch on the patio there. It's going to be right by our facility at the Barron Real Estate.
Oh, very nice.
And what's the amount of people that you can hold? And are you close to being filled?
So this year we're actually doing it in person and on Zoom.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So really, you can have
options for everybody.
I didn't know
but
that.
in-house, it's up to like 275 people.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it's a big facility over there.
it's
big.
And
big.
they can participate on Zoom then too.
Yeah.
Very good.
That seems to be the thing these days,
Yeah. What's the Zoom idea?
Yeah. Who knew? If only we had bought stock in Zoom like 2 years ago, right?
Missed the mark.
All right, excellent. Thank you.
So I know we've still got a few minutes left, but for those that are interested in the summit now, is it the same website? If so, can you repeat it just a little bit slower?
Yes, I can. So it is the same website. It's www.gfnf4kids.org.
And we'll make sure that we share that too with all of our viewers and listeners so that if they are driving, which we definitely don't want them to worry about writing down anything while they're driving, we'll share it on our Facebook page as well so they can find information there.
So I'm going to go back to the Children's Advocacy Center because we do still have a few minutes left.
Yeah.
And so right now you're in the process of building out the facility, right?
Right.
You've got a partner agreement, so everybody's ready to move in. Once you say move in, here's your key.
Right.
When do you plan on everybody moving in, and when do you what's the anticipated operational date, if you will?
So, they've done the demolition to the building. We're waiting on the permits for the actual construction. We're hoping that's going to commence the beginning of October. And we're really optimistic that we want to have it operational by January of 2022. So don't hold me to that. But that's, I go there every day and, I'm trying to rally the building department. Come on, help me out. So, we're really excited. We've met with the contractor, we're talking about access control, being able to, when there's an emergency in the middle of the night, law enforcement need to get to the building, that we can give them access remotely. Amy Gregory with DCF is building a specialized team who's going to be trained,
nice.
in what it means to work at a CAC, and so we're using this time wisely so that we're all, ready to go, and we're a team, because it's an all external team. No one's the boss, but we want to be able to have relationships and do what's right for the kids. The kids are the priority, so.
I think this is going to, and what we've already talked about at the top of the hour, this is going to be a game changer for not only St. Lucie County, but really the circuit.
Well, and not only that too, because I feel like, and I've told you this before, the one thing that we do really well in St. Lucie County is come together with an idea in mind and make it the best. And so there might be other CACs around the state, but I have no doubt that ours is going to be the best one with the best model that I think is going to end up being replicated across the state.
Right, and that's my thing, is maybe we won't know that we're the best, but we're the most innovative, or we're this unique because we are the most child-friendly setting.
Yes.
It's the experience that the kids have. I've visited other CACs, and I wanted to make it feel like a place they want to be. It's not institutional. It's not medically driven. It's a place that they're going to remember that when they left there, they felt valued. They felt like they were heard. They got support. We're also going to have a facility dog, and most CACs have those.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. I mean, I want to use my dog, but it's probably not the best idea. His name is Goose. We're not going to use Goose, but he's going to be there to greet the family when they come in.
That's
He'll be there to
amazing.
support them. He's not like a therapy dog. It's a trained facility dog, so that they're there. They can go to court with the kids.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so I think he's probably the
Can
most
we
important.
have the dog
Can
on
we
the
have
show?
a facility dog?
We could. We're going to bring one to the summit, so you guys can meet
Awesome.
one that is.
That again, I know that this idea exists in other places, but I have no doubt that ours is going to be whatever you think, the most innovative, the most child-friendly, the prettiest,
fill it in.
whatever it is. I really believe, and I love that. Not only that, but we're able to look at all of the information that's coming out of that center,
Right.
and then we'll be able to make change with it, which is really cool.
Yeah, and it's the people that make it what it is. So
Yeah.
I think we got the best people.
Yeah.
And so
Awesome.
we have a minute left. I just want you to, I know this is your first time in the studio, but you got to give out your contact information again, because what we want,
Okay.
either if they're interested in attending the Child Summit, or just as importantly, if not more importantly, if they want to be involved with the Children's Advocacy Center, because what I heard in our conversation is you still need volunteers, you still need
Sponsorships,
money,
yeah.
sponsorships, and everybody needs to rally around our children. So let's give out that information one more time.
So please call me, 772-713-0658. And website too?
Yeah.
Sure.
The website, once again, is www.gfnf4kids.org.
Awesome. Thank
Now,
you so much
our
for
radio
joining
show
us.
listeners don't know this, but I love how you looked into the camera
She did.
directly,
It was
eye-to-eye
very-
contact, and give out your number.
It's just-
Very important.
And when we have you back on, we'll explore the idea of why you named the dog Goose. But until then, we want everybody to check out their website, check out how you can be involved with either the Summit or the Children's Advocacy Center, because it's so important for our community. And just a simple reminder, it's a weekly radio program on 104.5 The Flame every Sunday at 10 a.m. And also once a month, thanks to WOLX TV, we're also a television program. And a simple reminder that it's our children, our community, our future. Now more than ever, folks, we're all in this together. We'll see you next time.